So today we also have to look at a presentation. The presentation I have most of my presentations stored at Prezi.
Hello, teacher.
Hi, hello, how are you? So I have
Hi.
most of my presentations with the Prezi. I will start explaining you how do I work on these things. Sorry that my electricity I guess is lost, so I would have to indicate. So the thing that we have to learn about today is that is another part of the coding. And in today's lesson, we are going to discuss on this topic, which says, are computers really smart? So this is the topic that we have for today. So what is your opinion about this? When I ask you this question, are computers really smart? So what do you tell me? Lucky that my camera has some light with it. So what do you understand with this thing? Yes, Mahal, you want to say something?
So I don't think computers are smart because they can't do something on their own. Like they have to be coded or they have to be told what to do first.
Yes, anyone who would like to differ with Mahad? Mahad says that computers are not like actually they are not smart, but that's what Mahad says. I would also want to know what other what you guys do say.
Computers are smart.
Wait, wait, let me explain.
Computers are
Let me explain what Mahad said once again, and after that you can share your opinion, and you also need to share why do you think that or why do you feel that. So Mahad feels that computers are not smart. The reason is that he thinks everything that computer has to do, we have to tell it to the computers. Computers can't do anything on their own, so that is why he feels computers are not smart. So Ibrahim, if now you say that computers are smart, you need to tell us a reason. Why do you think computers are smart?
because when they're told to what to do, they can do it, and computers can also do what they're told on their own.
So that is yes, like an opinion again, but again the debate comes to the same point. How can you say that they are smart if you have to tell them everything that you want them to do? Okay, that first thing. Next is, in my opinion, what I feel is computers in itself. Yes, you want to say something? No? Okay. Let me see what I wanted to say. So, in my opinion, uh, computers are basically developing artificial intelligence. So the computers that would have artificial intelligence in them, they would be like very smart. But the computers that we work with most of the times, they are not actually that smart. We have to tell them what do we mean by a certain thing, and then they perform according to that thing. So that is why I say that computers are actually not normal computers that
Assalamualaikum.
we work on. Yes, walaikum assalam. So that is what I
आप थोड़ा उर्दू में बोले.
मैं उर्दू में बताता हूँ. सो कंप्यूटर्स का बेसिक ये प्रॉब्लम है कि कंप्यूटर्स जो कुछ कंप्यूटर स्मार्ट होते हैं और कुछ कंप्यूटर स्मार्ट नहीं होते हैं. स्मार्ट कंप्यूटर्स वो होंगे जो कि खुद से बहुत सारे काम कर सकते हैं जिनके अंदर आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एडेड है. लेकिन जनरली जिन कंप्यूटर्स के ऊपर हम काम करते हैं वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्मार्ट नहीं है. उसकी एक बड़ी सिंपल सी वजह ये है कि जो भी काम हम कंप्यूटर से करवाना चाहते हैं हमें वो बताना पड़ता है और उसके बाद कंप्यूटर उस चीज़ पर काम करते हैं. सो यही वो चीज़ है जिसे कि मैं समझाना चाह रहा हूँ. कंप्यूटर्स are like of two types. One type of computers can work on their own. They have their own intelligence system, artificial intelligence, and one of the computers they do not have that intelligence system and they are not actually that smart. So the computers that we may interact with, they are not that smart. Okay. So computers जिनके साथ हम काम करें वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्मार्ट नहीं है. So इसी से रिलेटेड ये प्रेजेंटेशन है. इसी प्रेजेंटेशन में वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न कि कंप्यूटर्स किस तरह काम करते हैं, उनके काम करने का प्रोसेस क्या है और क्यों हम ऐसे कहते हैं कि कंप्यूटर स्मार्ट नहीं है. So first thing is that we start with this presentation and let's see what is in the presentation. So presentation is about computer smart के computer समझदार हैं. So this is the idea of the presentation. अच्छा अब इसकी there are three major parts for that. How computer works, working of a program और instructions and commands. इन तीन चीज़ों के ऊपर computers कैसे काम करते हैं, that is the first part of this lesson. अभी we are going to look into how computers work. अभी हम ये देखेंगे कि computers कैसे काम करते हैं. पहली चीज़ यहाँ पर there I have a video that I have got from TED Ed, which is TED for Education. उन्होंने एक छोटी सी वीडियो बनाई है about how a computer works. Instruction based environment होता है कंप्यूटर का. कंप्यूटर works on an instruction based environment. Every instruction that you pass to a computer, हर instruction जो आप कंप्यूटर को देते हैं, it goes into the computer's brain. वो कंप्यूटर के ब्रेन के पास जाती है. The brain processes it. ब्रेन उसको समझता है and performs something and performs a task. और एक काम उस इंस्ट्रक्शन के मुताबिक जो उसे मिली है उसको करने की कोशिश करता है. अभी हम ये वीडियो देखते हैं और हम सोचेंगे कि हमें इसमें से क्या समझ आ रही है. आई विल कीप आस्किंग यू अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस बिटवीन दैट सो दैट you can express what you are understanding from that video. Okay, we need to be very sharp because my laptop might die soon in like 30 minutes if because there is no electricity here.
Do you remember when you first realized that your computer was more than just a monitor and keyboard?
यहाँ पर भी ये बात हो रही है. The thing that is being explained is that a computer, what we see is that there is a monitor, there is a keyboard, but it is more than that. We have this like a big part of big body of the computer that is called the CPU. हमारे पास कंप्यूटर का एक बहुत बड़ा पार्ट है जिसका नाम CPU है. उसके अलावा we have a mouse. इस तरह का we have a mouse here. So let's see that how does a computer work in an instruction based environment. Instructions कैसे generate होती हैं, how the instructions are generated, how they are understood by the computer, how they are understood by the CPU, and how computer performs an action according to the instruction. Let's watch that video now.
That between the mouse click and the video playing, there was something that captured your attention, understood it, and made it real? What is that something? Is it gremlins? Let's imagine that we can shrink down to the size of an electron and inject ourselves into a click of a mouse. If you took your mouse apart, you'd see that it's really a very simple machine. It has a couple buttons and a system for detecting motion and distance. You might have an...
So अभी तक यहाँ पे it is being explained that in an instruction based environment, when we are running a click, when we are using a mouse, so a mouse is basically a very simple machine. It has a mechanism. इसके अंदर एक तरीकाकार होता है through which we can understand how the cursor is moving, जिससे कि ये cursor की screen के ऊपर movement के बारे में हमें पता चलता है. And it has two buttons. इसके ऊपर दो clicks हैं और वो clicks आपको help out करते हैं चीज़ों को select करने में, और they help you to select the things or check the options of a certain thing. Left click is for selection, right click is for options. ये दोनों क्लिक्स का काम होता है. आगे देखते हैं.
Optical mouse that makes these measurements with lights and sensors, but older ones did this with a hard rubber ball and some plastic wheels. Same concept. When you click the button on your mouse, it sends a message to the computer with information about its position. When your mouse click is received, it's handled by the basic input-output subsystem. This subsystem acts like the eyes and ears and mouth and hands of the...
Okay, so this is something that you can watch on your own if you want. I can share the link of this video as well, but this is not something that I want you guys to learn because this is a little advanced for our course. So I will go further and I will come to this part. So
Teacher.
G.
Teacher.
Yes.
मेरी टीचर के पास भी ऐसी कंप्यूटर है. कंप्यूटर.
हाँ, ऐसा कंप्यूटर बहुत सारे लोगों के पास है.
At school. टीचर. मेरी टीचर के पास भी है. उनका नाम था टीचर माविश.
एंड मेरी एकेडमी स्टार्ट हो गई है
अच्छा
एंड मेरे पास ऐसे ही है
सही। अच्छा
कंप्यूटर
सही। अच्छा अब आगे देखिए इन दिस वीडियो। अब यहाँ से इम्पोर्टेंट चीज शुरू हो रही है। यहाँ पे भी बताया जाएगा हाउ किस तरह एक इंस्ट्रक्शन जो है कंप्यूटर उसे समझता कैसे। हाउ डज अ कंप्यूटर अंडरस्टैंड एन इंस्ट्रक्शन। दैट इज बेसिकली द पार्ट दैट इज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम नाउ ऑनवर्ड्स। इसको बड़े ध्यान से आप सबने सुनना है। जहाँ पे किसी को कुछ समझ नहीं आती है आप बोल के मुझे रोक सकते हैं, ठीक है?
Computer, but it runs the show all the same. And the CPU's job, its whole job, is fetching instructions from memory and executing them. So while you're typing, maybe really fast, like 60 words a minute, the CPU is fetching and executing billions of instructions a second. Yes, billions, every second. Instructions to move your mouse around on the screen, to run that clock widget on your desktop, play your internet radio, manage the files you're editing on the hard drive, and much, much more. Your computer's CPU is one heck of a multitasker. But oh my gosh, there's a very important mouse click coming through now. Let's drop everything now and deal with that. There are programs for everything that the CPU does. A special program for the mouse, for the clock widget, for the internet radio, and for dealing with letters sent by the keyboard. Each program was initially written by a human in a human-readable programming language like Java, C++, or Python. But human programs take up a lot of space and contain a lot of unnecessary information to a computer, so they're compiled and made smaller and stored in bits of ones and zeros in memory. The CPU realizes that it needs instructions for how to deal with this mouse click, so it looks up the address for the mouse program and sends a request to the memory subsystem for instructions stored there. Each instruction in the mouse device driver is duly fetched and executed. And that's not nearly the end of the story. Because the CPU learns that the mouse was clicked when the cursor was over a picture of a button on the monitor screen, and so the CPU asks memory for the monitor program to find out what that button is. And then the CPU has to ask memory for the program for the button, which means that the CPU needs the monitor program again to show the video associated with the button, and so it goes. And let's just say that there are a lot of programs involved before you even see the button on the screen light up when you clicked it. So just the simple task of clicking your mouse means visiting all of the critical components of your computer's architecture. Peripherals, the basic input-output system, the CPU, programs, and memory, and not one gremlin.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next step. The next step that we have is after this video. Okay, now we need to understand how a computer program works. And along with that, there is another very important thing, that is instructions and commands. So before we start writing a code to something, we need to work out that what is the difference between instruction and command. Whenever we are coding, we are using two kind of things. First kind of things are called instructions. The other kind of thing is called programs, or you can say the complete commands. And how does a program work is very simple. What we do is, then when we are writing a program, we are basically writing in a language that we can understand very easily. After we have written whatever we wanted to explain to the computer, now the next part is for another software which is called a translator. What is the name of that software? Please repeat with me. इसका नाम है translator. जब मैं कोई भी प्रोग्राम लिखूंगा, I need to write it in my language. मैं जिस ज़बान को अच्छी तरह समझता हूँ, I am going to write a program in that language. इसके बाद computer is going to see कि इसका क्या मतलब है. Computer cannot understand what I say, so computer takes help from a translator So the translator takes the code that I have written in my language, checks it according to the rules, and changes it into the computer's language. That is how we interact with the computer. That is how we talk to a computer. हम कंप्यूटर से बात करते हैं, कंप्यूटर को अपनी इंस्ट्रक्शंस किस तरह बताते हैं, उसके बताने का प्रोसेस यही है. हम अपनी लैंग्वेज के अंदर इंस्ट्रक्शंस लिखते हैं, कंप्यूटर हमारी लैंग्वेज को नहीं समझ सकता, इस वजह से कंप्यूटर हेल्प लेता है ट्रांसलेटर की. ट्रांसलेटर्स हमारी लैंग्वेज में लिखी हुई चीज़ को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं कंप्यूटर्स को, और कंप्यूटर्स फिर उस इंस्ट्रक्शन के मुताबिक काम करना शुरू कर देते हैं. अब ये इंस्ट्रक्शंस दो तरह की होती हैं. सम ऑफ द टाइम्स ये सिंगल लाइन में लिखी होती हैं and they are called instructions or commands. A command is like one single line statement, whereas a program is a combination or a set of more than one instructions combined together to complete a particular task. So instruction एक सिंगल लाइन में लिखा हुआ कोड है जो कि सिर्फ एक छोटा सा स्टेप कंप्लीट करेगा. प्रोग्राम काफी सारे इंस्ट्रक्शंस को मिलाकर बनाया जाने वाला एक बड़ा प्रोग्राम है जो कि कंप्लीट करेगा एक बड़े काम. लेट मी एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट डू वी मीन विद द टू वर्ड्स इंस्ट्रक्शन एंड कमांड. फॉर दैट I would like all of you to go to this website that I explained you yesterday as well, which is blockly.games. Okay. On this blockly.games, we are going to learn about two things. First is an instruction, second is a command, second is a program. What is the difference between an instruction and a program? Instructions are also called commands. Many commands combine together and they form one program. For example, see this problem that we have in front of us. We have this character who needs to walk on that yellow line and reach the goal or reach the location that has been pointed out. So हमारे पास ये कैरेक्टर है, इसको इस येलो लाइन पर मूव करना और मूव करते करते यहाँ पर आना है. हमें इसे इंस्ट्रक्शंस देनी है कि यहाँ तक पहुँच जाए. So if I write one line, it becomes an instruction. अगर मैं ज़्यादा lines को इकट्ठा कर दूँगा, that will become a program. So if I have to give him give this character an instruction, तो वो instruction मैंने इसे दे रहा हूँ move forward की. मेरी instruction मिलते ही ये program एक step forward चला जाता है, but it does not reach the goal. It did not meet the goal. This carried out the instruction that I gave to take one step forward, but this character stopped just right there and didn't move after that. Why? Because I had only given one instruction. I have explained it to do something only one time. Now let's say that I ask it to do the same thing two times so that my goal is completed. So for that I'm going to use move forward here and ask it to run the program. Now this character is going to take two steps. First step brings this character like into the middle, and the second step takes this character to the end. So this is what is going to happen now. ठीक है, दो बार move forward use किया आपने और आपका goal, आपका objective complete हो गया. You completed that objective by using the same instruction two times. So that becomes a program. When you are using more than one instructions, combining them in a right sequence that will help you to solve a problem, that becomes a program. दो एक से ज़्यादा इंस्ट्रक्शंस को यूज़ करना, उनका सीक्वेंस ठीक रखना ताकि वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर दें, इसे आप प्रोग्राम बनाना कहते हैं. और सिंगल इंस्ट्रक्शंस को लिखना, इसे आप कमांड्स देना कहते हैं. सिंगल इंस्ट्रक्शंस आर कमांड, मल्टीपल इंस्ट्रक्शंस रिटन टुगेदर दे फॉर्म अ प्रोग्राम. फाइन, हैज एवरीवन गॉट दैट? हाशिम, आपको समझ आ रही है? What about Hania, Inaya, Ibrahim? आप लोगों को भी समझ आ रही है? मूसा?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
मुझे समझ आ गया.
So who can tell me what is the difference between instruction?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who can tell me the the difference between instruction and a program? कौन बताएगा जी? Instruction और program में क्या difference है? जी हाशिम?
between the instructions and program is more than one line and an instruction is just one line.
Yes, that's right. And if we have to explain it more, we can say instruction is one line and you do not have to follow the sequence in that because it is only one line. When you are writing more than one lines, you have to be very careful about the sequence of those lines also. I will explain you what do we mean by the sequence in the next level. Now see this next level. This is kind of tricky. Now we have to worry about the instructions and the sequence as well. Move forward is like the first instruction that I will give my character to do so that it moves forward. But if I ask my character to turn left first and then forward, that instruction is basically wrong. So instructions are fine, but these instructions should be in a correct sequence as well. Now when I see this character, who can tell me what do I need to do? Who will help me in doing that? Hashem, what is the first command that I should use?
You should go forward.
Okay. And Musa, what is the next command that I should use? Once I go forward?
Then you have to turn left.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Hania, इसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे?
Move forward.
Move forward, good. यहाँ पे move forward, we place it here. Yes, Mahad, what after that?
After that, you have to tell him to turn and then you make him move forward.
Right or left?
You have to make him turn to the right.
Turn to its right, yes, right. It turns to its right. And what after that?
Then
Who is going to
move
tell
forward.
that? Who is going to tell that? Just raise your hand. Inaya. Okay, move forward. So we put the move forward here and let's see what happens now. So is that fine? So is that working for us? Yes. Similarly, this has 10 levels. How many levels does this have? 10. So today we are going to discuss like 3-4 levels only, and from tomorrow onwards we are going to see how can we solve 10 further levels. Okay, so let's go to the third level. Now the third level is interesting. You see two different colors of codes here. Previously you only saw one color codes, like only purple codes were there. Now you have a purple code as well and a green code as well. Now this green code says repeat until you reach this point. So what is the step that this character needs to do out of these three if this character wants to reach here?
Move forward.
Move.
Who said that? Inaya? Okay, we need to ask our character to repeat moving forward until it reaches the goal. So once I run this program, that is going to follow the same thing and we are going to reach the goal. Fine. Now, fourth one is like our today's cutoff lesson. We'll cut off at 5 actually. So now we have to tell our computer, our character to do what steps so that it reaches the goal easily. What is the first thing that you would ask your character to do? Move forward or turn left? Okay, we ask it to move forward and it moves forward like that. What is the next thing that it needs to do?
Turn left. Move forward.
Yes, Mahad?
You need to tell him to turn to the left so that he can keep going forward.
Yeah. Musa, what do we need to do after that?
You have to move forward.
So we have to move once again forward. So that is where we will reach. After that, we are going to ask our character to turn left or right?
Right.
Yes, right. So our character turns right here and it reaches this point and faces in the other direction. Now we are going to just add one last thing. Because we have only got one block left, so we can't add more than one block. So we are going to ask our character to keep doing that until it reaches the goal. So that is what this character is going to do now. Just look at the steps it is taking. It is going to keep repeating all these steps so that it reaches the goal. Okay. So this is level 4, and now we do go with level 5. So this is the last level that we have to do today. This level is kind of a little different than the other levels. You can't start it with repeat until, because if I start it with repeat until and ask it to move forward 2 times and then ask it to turn left, something like that is going to happen. It would take 2 steps forward, turn left. It would take 2 steps forward, but again turn left. It's going to hit somewhere, which is kind of wrong. So I can't ask my character to keep moving, keep following the same routine again and again and again. So first I need to make sure that this character reaches here and turns into this side. So for that, I'm going to use 2 move forwards. See that I have only left 3 blocks now. After that it reaches here, I'm going to ask it to turn left so that it turns left. After that, I can ask it to keep moving forward until it reaches the goal. So now sequence is important, as I told you. जैसे मैंने आपको पहले बताया था कि sequence important है, तो हम पहले sequence ये रख रहे हैं कि this character reaches here, ये character यहाँ तक पहुँच के ऊपर की तरफ move कर ले, और उसके बाद अगला sequence ये कि ये move करता जाए सामने सीधा. So now if I run it, that is going to happen so that it would reach the objective, or it would meet the objective. Fine. So this is it from our today's lesson. If there is anything that you guys want to ask, you can ask now.